Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on the AI Estimator by GelatoConnect. Today, I'm joined by our Senior VP of Product, Pradeep, who will take you through a live demo of the AI Estimator. So we're going to show you how it works, the value it's delivering to print service providers already, and where we see this going in the future. If you're like most PSPs, you might have an estimation team who are spending hours every day preparing quotes, and it will be slowing your growth. But with the GelatoConnect AI Estimator, you can now increase your win rates by responding to customers in less than 5 minutes and also significantly cut your human quoting work. So today we'll be looking at the product and also hearing from some of our early customers about the value that it's delivering for them. So Pradeep, let's start with the basics. Why did we build the AI Estimator in the first place, and what kind of problems were we trying to solve for PSPs?
Yeah, thank you, Ali. Estimation today is slow, manual, and expert dependent. I'm not saying that. We work at Gelato, we work with more than 150 PSPs, and they have demanded and really pushed us to solve this challenge for them. This is as you mentioned, there is a team of estimators. The way it is done is the same way it has been done for decades or many years, and with the rise of AI and in Gelato, we take pride in the solutions that we've launched across Gelato Connect with leveraging AI. And our PSPs identified this opportunity connecting these two, where AI is such a perfect use case, which we'll hopefully show you today in terms of how it can solve estimation.
Thanks, Pradeep. And we'll get into this in a bit, but what benefits are PSPs actually seeing with the AI Estimator, and what are we going to walk through today in today's session?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, when a print buyer is sending out requests or quote requests, they're not necessarily trying to find the bottom in the market. They're trying to get a job done, and today print buying is still harder than what it needs to be in 2025. So what if your estimators and your team can get those quotes out in less than 5 minutes? You're going to win more jobs. So growth is a big component of this. But at the same time, I often say that my daughter is 7 years old. They're not making any more new estimators. I have heard PSP saying my most experienced estimators are actually transitioning out. They're retiring. Like, how am I going to future proof my business? And to me, and when we look at the AI landscape, the answer is abundantly clear with the AI agents and how knowledge is something that AI is so good at, and how can we leverage and harness that technology in our industry. This is all playing out in other industries, right? And there are so many examples of that, and I'm super excited how this can play out for our industry.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it. Pradeep, firstly, before we take a look at the product, what is required for PSPs to get started with the AI Estimator?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of setting up, I want to say that AI, what it is going to do is to do the job of a human estimators, and it's going to make the job of a human estimators, so much easier. So you would need a team of estimators who are less than half of what it is today, so they can be freed up into actually doing work that will result in more jobs for you. For example, what if they could focus more on customers or in operations, right? So that is a key component. In terms of what is needed, your costs, your machines, your labor rates, your strategy for how you want to price it, and margin your products, all of that is needed. So this is something. There are a couple of tables or Google Sheets where you need to input this information. If you have an existing MIS, which most PSPs do, you will need to translate that information into a format that AI estimator will understand, and then basically you're ready to go. The agent is already trained in print knowledge, so it'll be able to understand all of these parameters to create codes for you. An important part that I want to say is that the agent does not make up prices. It's going to use your inputs, your machines, your post press equipment, all of that to create those prices. So it is really the grunt work that we have to do for every single quote request that comes into your facility. Those are the things that the agent is going to automate and do for you.
Thanks, Pradeep. Okay, so let's get into the good part, and I think it'd be great to look at the product. Pradeep, can you present an example of a request from a customer, and let's see how the AI Estimator works through it?
Absolutely. So, I'm going to start here. This is the manage estimate screen, which is where, you start. You can see a list of all of your estimates and, analytics based on that. But let's go in and actually look at the experience. Currently, if you're used to estimation tools out in the market, it's a list of long tables that you need to fill out. You basically need to build the product from scratch in order to estimate each and every time. But your customers are speaking a natural language to say, hey, here is what I want. So I have a real example here from a customer where, they just say, hey, I would like to get this product. In this case, it's stitch books. There's a quantity, there's specifications for different parts. And the how you engage with this tool is that you basically copy and paste that. You could screenshot and paste that. You could, plug that in any way that you want. And what's happening here is that, okay, it's already created the estimate for me, but I wanted to take some time to explain that. So there is a multi-agent system on the background. I can share with you more details on the tech as to how it works, which pulls through all of the information to create that estimate for you. So in this case here, you can see that all of the parameters that you've requested or your customer has requested has been mapped. And then it has also put that into, shipping. So that is also estimated. And it gives you a set of production options for you to choose from. So if you have, a mix of digital and litho equipment, then it's going to estimate across all of those different production lines, not just presses, but also post-press equipment. And it's going to give you all of the options and you can choose from that. In this case, for example, I can see that offset or, there is an XL 105, which came up to have the lowest price. But, you can see that for digital, it'd be slightly higher. But again, if the quantity were lower, digital would be higher. So it gives you a stack rank. All of this calculation, all of this processing basically, happen in less than 15 seconds. At this point, you can just create a quote letter right here, with, just view PDF. You're able to ship that off to a customer. That's it. And the beauty about AI is that the more it knows your data, the more it processes your quotes, it's going to get smarter. So just as your human estimators are becoming smarter by engaging with your customers and processing codes, this is also going to get smarter. So that's why we're really excited about this technology. And later, I know we're going to share some stories from customers as well.
Thanks, Pradeep. And how can customers have confidence in the quote that has been returned? Can they see how the pricing has been calculated? How do they know that they're not losing margin?
No, that's a great question. In fact, one of the key requirements that our PSP shared with us when we set out to build this tool is to say, I need to be able to audit the entire calculation. And I need to know that my rules and my costs have been set up correctly. So here you can see price breakdown. In here you can go into depths of how all of this is calculated. Let's say for the print step you can see click cost for digital, ink cost for offset, what's your make ready, what's your press hours, the speed of the machine. Like every single step is broken down in detail. Of course, your estimators don't have to do this every single time, but it's highly transparent and you know exactly how the cost was calculated. Also, there is smart imposition, also powered by AI, which is going to create your layouts in the most efficient way. And it also supports things like versioning. When you have many different versions of books, AI is so much smarter. We have learned to reduce material costs by making the most optimal layouts. So what we are confident about the calculations, but the most exciting part here is that you can validate this yourself as part of onboarding onto the platform with the price breakdown.
Amazing. And so we've seen this example is for books, right? So how would it work for other formats like maybe large format or labels or packaging?
No, that's a good question. Let's actually take another example and look at it, Ellie, because the base that we built here is an AI and agentic foundation for estimation, which scales across different print technologies. So, when a customer is asking you for a quote or an estimate, they don't care what type of product it is. They're just going to ask for a product, and we train the model and the system to do exactly that. So let's take an example here. This is a large format product. This is, acrylic, a sheet based product here. Again, in large format, there are much more nuances which you train the agent with. It's a bit heavy on finishing. There can be so many different finishing steps that are needed. In this case, I've asked for drilling and struts as an example for this board. And you can see here that it's processed that. There's a custom size, which it has taken into account. Drilling and struts are added as additional finishing options, which is all configured. You can configure the pricing for each of these steps in the system, and you can see that there are two specific presses that can produce this, and it's been packaged in the right size of box. And here you have the price. And the price breakdown works exactly the same way as I showed earlier. So you can go in and see, for example, in this case, there is a Zund or a CNC cutting device. You can see how fast the speed of that machine is, how much time it took, and how much you've estimated or costed for that particular step. So it works across print technologies, and we are excited to expand this to many different areas. One thing I want to show Ellie, which is really exciting, is that so far in the print industry, estimation has just been based on costs. It's a cost plus. You take the cost, apply a markup, but we know that from a market perspective, you need to be competitive. So AI opens up completely new avenues for how you could price. Let's take an example. We have a feature here called benchmarks. So what it does is it's going to look at the market and say how much the market is cost pricing this particular product. So if I push that in here, the agents get to work. They're going to go and crawl and find the three most popular sites in your country that is selling this exact product. In this case, this is a German account, but if it were in the US, it would be in dollars. So here you can see three services that are offering this specific acrylic board, and they would have priced it at anywhere between 450 to 500, but you've priced it at 400. You can see that there's already a margin opportunity if you look at it from that perspective to price that. So these are opportunities which I don't think existed before the advent of AI, and this is something that when I speak to PSPs, I remind over and over again, the old ways of operating, a lot of that is going to change. And how can we partner Gelato from a software perspective and the PSPs from an operations and print expertise perspective to really create something that can help us win as an industry.
Thanks, Pradeep. I wonder, just on that note, if you could maybe talk a little bit about the technology at play here. Like, how does all of this actually work? The AI estimation, the agents behind it, and the competitive benchmarking. Just what is going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, no, I think this is an interesting or an important question. In Gelato, more than 70% of code base now is written by AI, supported by AI. So this is not something that we are launching just to the AI estimator. We have a suite of products AI based. So there's a lot of foundational changes that we have in the architecture to enable this sort of agentic approach. But let me walk you through on a high level, and this is like really transparent, right? And I think this is really interesting, and many PSPs find value in this as well, as to how our industry can harness such an exciting and powerful technology. The AI estimator engine in itself, there are 4 steps that it goes through. If you didn't blink when I processed those codes, you would have seen that there were a couple of 4 checkboxes that went through. These are the steps that are happening in the background using basically a suite of agents, right? So the first thing is to really refine the request. So converting your natural language request from your customer into a structured code request, which can then be digested. And there's a lot with the power of interpretation with the AI. So we have a proprietary bespoke model which understands this. Next, we verify that the request is complete. I showed you an example of a large format product. I showed you an example of commercial print or book. You need to have a specific set of attributes in order to estimate. Let's say you didn't have the size of the product, you can't estimate. So in this step, the agent will actually come back and ask you, I didn't show that example, he'll come back and ask you, hey, this is missing. Here is what I recommend based on, your past historic data. How would you like to proceed? So that's your verify and complete step. The third step, when you have all of that data, with or without your estimator support, if something was missing, is to actually generate the estimate. In this case, we actually use your costs, your machines, your parameters, and rules to actually calculate the prices at this step, right? So, and then the last step here is to validate the accuracy. So when that comes back, we have a quality control agent, if you will, that is checking all of that. Okay, this was the request. Here is how I processed it. Here is the price that I get. Is this all integral, and is this all correct? And once that is checked, that is when you get the response as a customer, or as a user. All of this happens, before you blink. But there is a lot of underlying technology, and this is a bespoke model, that we've trained on, state of the art LLMs out there on the market right now, to really bring to market and to bring to this industry.
Thank you, Pradeep. Okay, so we've seen how it works and how it uses your real data, but this is really just the beginning, because not only can your estimation teams use the AI estimator, but as a PSP, you can also offer AI estimation to your customers on your own website. Pradeep, maybe you could tell us a bit about where this is heading and how some customers are using it in that way.
Immediately, our PSP said, why do we even need our estimators to do that? We have customers who are sending us 10, 20, 50 quote requests a day. Why can't we give them a portal to be able to do that themselves? And so AI estimator is available. We call it self quote. You can give your customers either login access, or you can just embed this on your website, to allow them to just create quotes, but also talk to your website, and get answers quickly, right? So, we have Hudson Printing as one of our customers, who's now launched that. You can go to their website and try it out as well. I believe, towards the end of the video, we'll also share a clip of how that looks like.
Thank you, Pradeep. I think it would be a good time now to hear from our customers who are already using it in production. So we'll hear from Simon Smoger at ESP Color on the impacts that it's had on their estimating speed and their margins since they started using it. And also from Paul Hudson at Hudson Printing, who, as you mentioned, Pradeep, have taken it even further by being the first print provider to embed the AI estimator directly into their website.
The reason why the AI estimator is so important to me as a business, which is our strategy, our business strategy. Our business strategy is based on one factor, which is convenience. That's the reason why I'm so connected personally to Gelato, because of my business, but mainly the AI estimator at this present point in time. Because the speeds that we can produce estimates in, it's just part of our strategy. We need to be able to estimate in record-breaking time. But since we started using the AI estimator, now we're on our 9th, hopefully our 10th, consecutive week. So I think that's having a good impact. The fact that we can come back to people much quicker than anyone else not using this in not much more than 30 seconds, let alone 5 minutes. We are legitimately pumping out estimates in a minute. So that is definitely having an impact, especially when you're doing 200 of them. So we're 9 weeks of up, hopefully the 10th. And I think it's due to consistency and the speed of delivery of an estimate.
Print buying is just too hard. It's still just too hard. And as printers, we have all this jargon. We had a literal opportunity to create a bridge between normal language, everyday language that people want to use to describe what they want to print, what they want to create, and all of our print jargon, and even beyond that, print instructions. So all of a sudden I thought, we can do this. We can build this bridge. And so here we are today, right? Just a few months later. What I'm showing you is our live website. This isn't a demo. This is our actual live website, live for a couple of days now. So it's like, how about I need booklets for my real estate? How about 24 pages, 200 copies? Please note I haven't specified paper. I haven't specified anything about this. What you're seeing here, and again, this is our live website. It's now integrated with the AI estimator, and it's building the plan for that. So it came back with a few questions like, oh, well, I suggest all of these different things. I said yes to those. I just changed the coding on the paper, and it's come up with $649, at which point I can then submit the request. So that lead has been submitted, and then where we'll pick that up is our estimation page inside of GelatoConnect. And what you'll see, this is the one we just created right here, $649. And I don't know if you saw the tag, it said inbound request. So at this point now, one of the account managers on my side will pick this up, make sure that things are okay, right? Make contact with the customer. So what you just saw was an actual from our website submission using natural language, landing as an estimate inside of our estimate engine.
So thank you to Simon and Paul. It's really amazing to see how quickly PSPs are not only adopting, but also innovating with this technology. And thank you to Pradeep for the demo and the great explanations. To those who are watching or listening, if you'd like to see how this could work for your business, we'd love to show you. So you can book a tailored walkthrough and discuss your unique quoting challenges with the GelatoConnect team. And head to gelato.com/connect/AI Estimator, and we'll help you to explore how the AI Estimator can unlock growth, efficiency, and control for your business. Thank you.